So in the last video, we differentiated between ordinal and cardinal utility approach and discussed out the concepts of utility, total utility, marginal utility, money as a measure of utility, and utils. And we finally derived the schedule of total utility and marginal utility. So now we are going to plot these two columns on a graph and see how it looks like and what can we derive from that. So if we plot this is how it looks. Now let's first focus on the TU curve. Firstly, it rises, then it reaches a point from where it starts falling. This point from where it starts to fall is the maximum point of the total utility curve, where the total utility is around 50 utils. Now let's look at the marginal utility curve. It keeps decreasing and decreasing. This behavior of marginal utility is explained by the law of diminishing marginal utility. We will look at this law of DMU in a bit. Now let's try to compare both these curves and see what happens. At 5 glasses of juice, the total utility is maximum. I told you it was 50 utils. And at the same 5 glasses of juice, the marginal utility touches the x-axis, which means it is 0. So that brings us to the conclusion that total utility is maximum when marginal utility is 0. And this point is called the point of satiety. Also, after 5 glasses of juice, the marginal utility becomes negative and total utility falls. And when marginal utility is negative, it is called disutility. Okay, now let's see what is law of diminishing marginal utility. It states that as we consume more and more units of a commodity, the utility derived from each successive unit goes on decreasing. I think this scenario we came across when we were trying to draw the schedule in our previous video. I was telling you how you like the second glass of juice a little less than the first glass of juice. This is also known as the Gaussian's first law of consumption because it was first given by a German economist named H.H. Gaussian. I don't know the correct pronunciation of his name, so sorry. Moving on, and I have just listed the assumptions of law of diminishing marginal utility here. And just have a glance, guys, and whatever book you are using for microeconomics, there would be a 2-line explanation for each of these assumptions for sure. Just give a casual read, that is more than enough. And now let's see what is a consumer's equilibrium. Generally, in economics, equilibrium is a point where you get the maximum benefit or gain under a given situation. And after that equilibrium point, your gain or your benefit decreases. And before that point, you have the chances of expanding your satisfaction level like in the schedule. But guys, can we just take the schedule as the basis of determining the equilibrium point? No, because I told you in my previous video that how utils cannot be taken as a standard unit for measurement as it will vary from individual to individual, and I was telling you how money will help us in this. Yes, we need to consider the monetary values as well. Not only for that, but we need to keep in mind our budget constraints as we had in our coffee example in the first video. So we can conclude that consumer's equilibrium refers to the situation when a consumer is having maximum satisfaction with his limited income and has no tendency to change his way of existing expenditure. So in our next bunch of videos, we'll look at the consumer's equilibrium in case of single and 2 commodities, and we'll finish off the ordinal utility approach. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and if you want more videos like this, make sure to tap that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.